21 pistols that we don't need. We also have these things. Okay, that's enough. To the derelict we go. And watch me being surprised now when there's like a bunch of aliens on it again. Or not. Oh, after all of those ships in the alien sector, it is kind of a glorious thing to see an empty ship. I mean, it shouldn't be. You should never encounter a completely empty ship. But after all the aliens, this is actually quite refreshing. Look, not a single shot fired. Let's get all the stuff and let's move on. Also, I'm having a tough time deciding what's gonna be next game I play after the Warcraft franchise. I still have Warcraft 3 to do after Warcraft 2 is finished. And that's still gonna be a few streams away because I'm not as practiced in Warcraft 2 as I was years ago, and the AI is taking me for a walk. And the expansion is tougher. It's gonna be more difficult, and I'm gonna have problems with it. So it's probably gonna be a few streams before I finish the Warcraft 2 expansion. I already did StarCraft. There is already a playthrough of StarCraft and Brood War on my YouTube channel. Now that was before I did the streams for it. Now what I could do is I could stream StarCraft with the HD pack. Command and Conquer is definitely there. It's gonna be either Command and Conquer Remastered, Age of Empires, or Legacy of Kain series, which depends on what I'm in the mood for. Because if I'm gonna be in the mood for more strategies, it's gonna be either Command and Conquer or Age of Empires. But if I'm in the mood to switch it up, it's gonna be the Legacy of Kain franchise, because I still have the whole thing, and it is one of my favorite things ever. Legacy of Kain franchise is magnificent. StarCraft 2 is on the list, but that will have to wait for me to upgrade my machine, because my GPU isn't strong enough to stream newer games. It hitches badly. I tried StarCraft 2 and I had about 26% frame skip, which is dreadful. So it's not doable. I need to upgrade my computer to stream newer games. The problem is I am not giving $1,600 to a scalper for a GPU which is priced at $600. So it's gonna be a while. There's a whole bunch of new games I want to play on stream, but until I upgrade my GPU I just can't. Sundays are supposed to be for new games. So, or newer games anyway. And until I upgrade my, this is a claimable ship, we're gonna ignore that completely. Until I upgrade my GPU, that's just not gonna happen. I did get myself a PS3 again, because I sold my old one. So I'm gonna be streaming some PS games as well. Vic, you say that, but StarCraft 2 had two engine upgrades. So StarCraft 2 actually has a brand new graphics engine, so it doesn't really run that smoothly. Because the original StarCraft 2, The Wings of Liberty, has been released 2011, but when they released Heart of the Swarm, they upgraded the graphics engine. And they did the same thing when they upgraded it. They did the same thing when the Protoss campaign was released. I can't remember what was that called. So Yeah, you are correct. It was originally released 2011, but the game engine has actually been upgraded twice. And I did do a test stream of it, and it was hitching. 18% of the frames were lost. So that's unacceptable for me. Uh, I mean, I would compromise and put it under a lower specs, but it didn't help. So we're waiting for me to get a stronger GPU. In the meantime, we'll be streaming what I can stream. There are plenty of games I can stream. It's just selecting which ones is always the biggest problem. And this doesn't have a way of getting through. Well, it doesn't have to. Right now, we don't do anything there. Oh, this needs a temperature regulator. Vic, yeah, I do have to run on actual potato because this potato is the only thing I have. Uh, yeah, Galaxy, that's exactly one of the games that I was streaming through emulator. Yeah, so that was a PS2 game, and yeah, PS2 games I can emulate and would emulate, but there are just not any PS2 games I really want to. Well, that's not entirely true, but most of the PS2 games I want to stream are RPGs, so that's gonna have its turn as well at some point. What's actually holding me back right now is not even the technology, it's the fact that I can only stream 2 times a week. I want to stream more, but there isn't enough time for it right now. When I'm able to at least extend it to 3 times a week, then I'll be able to put something else in the mix. And Vic, I don't really want to stream on a potato. My computer in itself is actually quite strong. When I'm playing it off stream, I can play even newer games like Doom Eternal on max graphics without problems. The problem comes when you try to stream it. The problem is when you want to stream something, then the game essentially running the same game twice, once for yourself and once then sending the data through the network over the internet. And that's where the problem is. If my computer was an actual potato and it was weaker, then it would have been frame loss of about 80%, not just 20. But even 20 is bad enough. Only the GPU is old, and I just can't bring myself to give that amount of money for a GPU. I mean, it's not normal to give that much money to it, because if you think about it, the 3080 series is priced at $600 to $700, and you could probably normally get it even cheaper, but now it's $16 to $1800. That's just too much money. I'm sorry, I'm not giving $800 to a scalper. Well, I appreciate that, Galaxy, thank you, but I want to stream more. I want to, because I really enjoy this. I enjoy talking to you guys, I enjoy streaming, it's a lot of fun. Where the hell is the thing? Oh, that's gonna be infected. I enjoy doing it, I have a lot of fun, I do want to do it more often. That's the end goal as well, to do it more often, but until I can... I'm actually working on it right now to add one more day of the stream. I'm just not sure which day it's going to be and what time slot, but we might be close to me getting the 3rd day of streaming into the mix at some point in the next few months probably. Essentially, I just have to make sure that I have the time. That's it. And then I can put another game into the mix, another thing, because I keep my streams mostly thematic. So Sundays are colony managements and games of this type, like Factorio and Space Haven and so on. Wednesdays are strategy games and old games, or mostly old games anyway. And then the third day is gonna be either action games or RPGs and adventure games. That's the idea anyway. And then I would now I already have a game that I would like to play as an RPG game, which is a PS2 game called Rogue Galaxy. But right now it's still a dream. I have to make sure I have the time to do it. And if I do, then it's on. Okay, this ship is explored. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't tough. Yeah, after Mary Shelley in all of those ships, all of these are piece of cake. Good items. Transfer those over. It wasn't, your name wasn't said by accident, Galaxy. The game I'm going to be streaming on the third day, hopefully, it's called Rogue Galaxy. That's one of my favorite RPG games on PS2. You're not hearing stuff. Have you ever played Rogue Galaxy? It's one of the best action RPGs on PS2 that I've ever played. For me, anyway. I like it a lot. Okay, do we have anything we can give away? Yes, we do. Plenty. And he is taking it and liking it. How much money do we even have now? Quite a lot, I'm guessing. 86,000. Yeah, I have enough. Still have plenty of resources left, yeah, because we don't really use that many. So I have 32 shotguns and 7 machine guns. Was that new? Because I was trying to arm my guys and there wasn't any guns left. One more trade left and we can go. Your AI brain, huh? Okay, we're done here. There's a nebula there, so we're going to leave that alone. We're going to leave that alone. What's here? A derelict. Mine this out. What you just said, Galaxy, reminds me of... I don't know if you ever played the game that's called Space Station 13. It's essentially a game in which you take roles, and one of the roles you can take is that of an AI. and you can play as an AI. Space Station 13 is one of those games that's very, very unique. And it is one of those games that I think would do well if it was done in a more user-friendly scale, because Space Station 13 isn't exactly user-friendly. It's like a mix between an old Windows 95 game, an operating system, and something else. It's really, really rich. Yeah, like I've played it for a while, a couple of years back, but I haven't been on it in a while. It's a game that is difficult to describe to people who have never played it or seen it. Essentially, you pick a role. It is, in its basest form, it is similar to Among Us, but it is like 1,000 times more. And the only comparison between that and Among Us is that because you can do tasks in it, well, you have to, you take a role, and there are a couple of people who play antagonists, and they have to essentially ruin it for everybody. Let's mine this out. Vic, I would. It's a game that I would recommend to everybody to play. Just keep in mind, there's a very steep learning curve, and it is a game where you have to role play. You have to assume the role of the person you are playing into. The community that plays Space Station 13, like heavily, they are very peculiar, as in they are very protective of their community and environment, and most of them know each other, and it's a very unique thing. It's very difficult to describe, really. Oh, Galaxy, there's so much more that you can do as a scientist than just mutations. I think one of the favorite things that I did was I was an antagonist, and I was playing a medic or doctor. I can't remember what's the name of the role, and I was slowly poisoning everybody who came in for medical because you can create poisons, and depending on how much poison you administer, it slowly drains their health, and they don't spot it for the most part. I managed to kill half of the crew. And then I was discovered and killed by a security guard. But that's just one of the million things you can do. If you play as a rogue AI, you can lock and unlock doors, you can get somebody stuck outside of the ship or the station. There are other things as well. I don't even know. There's like a million things you can do in that game. It's just that it's very difficult to learn the controls for it. So a lot of people see the game and they give up on it really quickly. But once you get into it, it's a very unique and a very interesting experience. It's a game like none other. Okay, where's the derelict? Ah, there it is. Let's go from descent. Well, actually, the biggest body count I've made in Space Station 13, I did by accident. I was playing the role of a miner, and there was like 20 of us mining asteroids, and I set up a chain of explosives, and I didn't notice that a bunch of miners went to the asteroid after me, and when I detonated it, I pretty much killed all of them. It was a big oopsie moment. I was banned from using explosives after that. But I think the biggest beauty with Space Station 13 is exactly that you always, everything becomes a story. Every single match that you play of that game becomes a story. A sequence of events that is just interesting to see and to be part of. You always, because you are essentially doing normal tasks on a space station, and the whole point is to get the biggest score by keeping the space station alive for the longest period of time possible. And inevitably it always descends into chaos, and each time that chaos starts a bit differently. I think once we managed to get everybody killed because we were trying to optimize the reactor output, and the reactor blew up. And of course that's immediate destruction of base and everything. We weren't even antagonists, we were engineers and we were trying to actually do it properly. But we messed it up. And the ship went boom boom. Oh, are these guys fighting? There's an enemy ship. Oh, they are fighting. Which are these called? Yeah, slavers, of course. So they're gonna run away. Slavers have a bigger ship. Another game I want to stream again is Stationeers, but I need to learn how to play that game properly first, because it's not fun to watch me trying to figure out how to make a room that doesn't leak oxygen and keeps pressure. Okay, cleaned up. I think you're safe. Okay, so we have stuff to mine out here. Yeah, you say that, Galaxy, and that sounds so simple, but you know, when I tried it on stream last time, my room didn't hold pressure, and it was just windows and a door, but it wasn't holding pressure, and the potato died. And we're back to potato. We just have mining stuff here, so let's mine this out. Yeah, the airlock was there, and the airlock was, as far as I could tell, functioning. It just didn't hold pressure. What's wrong with you? Oh, you're going to bed. It runs? So you managed to install Counter-Strike 1.1 on a Windows 10 and it runs without issue. You serious? Last time I tried to install a Counter-Strike that's, I think 1.6. I need to like put in 12 patches on it to make it work on Windows 10. That's awesome. Does it still have a community that plays it? I'm assuming it does, although most of it is now in CSGO, a game I cannot stand. I don't like CSGO. I've played a bunch of shooters, but CSGO just doesn't work for me. Which is ironic because CS 1.6 was one of my favorites. I loved CS 1.6. We used to play it in school after classes. Claimable ship and a nebula. And another claimable ship. We're just gonna take the ice and derelict here. Oh, okay, Vic. Yeah, okay then. Yeah, if it's that kind of a version of a game, then yeah, it probably would work. It's probably also patched up to run on a modern system. There's a nebula. Let's hope there are no micrometeors. Well, there might be. There's a claimable ship we will ignore. And a derelict we're gonna go explore. Yeah, the bots, that's one of the things I can't understand, because in old first-person shooters, the bots were... Oh crap. That was an unpleasant surprise there. The bots in old shooter games were really good. As in, they were actually properly dangerous. And the bots in newer games are really dumb and really stupid. I remember the godlike bots on original Unreal. They were really difficult to beat. You could beat them. That's the wonderful thing. It wasn't that they were just running around and using aimbot on you. They were... You could beat them, you could defeat them, but it was difficult. And I look at the bots in CSGO and in modern Call of Duties, and they're just junk. They're absolute junk. The hardest kill bots on, well, on most of the monocles that had them, like Black Ops 2 and 3 and so on, they're not difficult at all to defeat. That's Vic, if that's the case, that's really impressive. If that's the old version and it still runs on Windows 10, that's marvelous. Most games that are that old that I tried to run usually require a couple of community patches to run. With that being said, the bots in Team Fortress 2 are actually quite reasonable. When I think about it, the Team Fortress 2 bots are actually okay. They're not the best, but they're okay. They're quite reasonable. Well, like if the CD was kept in a normal environment, it wouldn't really deteriorate. That's the thing, the CDs are fragile, as in they're not as